Hi everyone, and welcome to this introductory lecture in software technology. And just for this first few minutes we will be all three teachers available here. I am the course responsible, Tobias Andersson Gidlund, and with me today are...
I'm just plain Tobias, so to add to the confusion we have the same name, so tag for him and Tobias or Hobbe for me. I will be teaching the second theme of the course, modeling, primarily.
And I am Daniel and responsible for the third theme on testing. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, great. Now on with the show.
Yeah.
So just connect myself and we will begin. Yeah, great. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. And he forgot his water, so we'll see if he will run in. Okay, let's have something like this instead. Again, welcome everyone. This is the Introduction for Software Technology course, and this first session will be a tad shorter, about an hour I would suspect, where we will discuss this course, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and why we're going to do it, and so on. And we will begin immediately with thinking about what this course is all about. And we are pretty sure that by now you know the essential means of programming in the small, namely to search Google for error codes, copy and paste from Stack Overflow, watch YouTube, and so on. However, constructing real life, real size, large applications is so much more than just doing this. I mean, basically, so far we've had a task and we've been thinking of it and started coding right away. But we are going to try to give you a larger picture of this. We are going to try to see software development as a project and not just something that we sit down and start coding. So that's the idea. And to see this as a project, you need to look at requirements. You need to look at the process and the planning of it all. You need to do some modeling, and preferably using UML today, which will lead to some design, and you need to test your stuff. You have, of course, been doing parts of this in previous courses, but you've most likely done it, well, right off. So you've done all of these steps in a few seconds in your head and then started coding. Now, for a larger project, that will not suffice. We need to actually put this onto, I say paper, but no one uses paper, but we need to put it down somewhere so that we can follow the planning, to know what steps to use in the process, what requirements we have on the software, how to model everything so that we can communicate our ideas, designing it, testing it, and so on. The big picture, the project, the large block of code. And as you heard from my colleagues, and I will have this on a slide as well, we have three themes in this course, and each of these themes will have one teacher who is responsible for this theme. So I will be responsible for processes and planning, which is the first theme, and as you see, I'm also the course responsible. After that, the next theme will be modeling and design, where you will see the other Tobias. And as we have the same name, if you have a question, and you pose that to one Tobias, we will probably say that it is the other Tobias you are supposed to talk to, because no one wants to take it. Lastly, Daniel will fill you in on everything that you need to know about testing so far. You will also see a few things, a few other phases. We will have a number of pre-recorded lectures, and these lectures will at least sometimes be held by Jesper Andersson, so you will see his face as well. I haven't included his face in this presentation, but there are YouTube clips. Watch them and listen to Jesper as well. And apart from that, we have two really great teaching assistants who you will meet, I should say, on Slack and have discussions on with during this course. As I said, we have these themes, and each of these themes will be accompanied by lectures, either pre-recorded or live in some way, and there will be reading instructions for all of these, mostly referring to the book, but it might be that we refer to other sources available on the internet as well. And for most parts you will also have some sort of Q&A or tutoring session. We haven't been able to really put exactly in time edit or your schedule what's what, but if you look in Moodle, there is a little schedule there where you can see exactly what's going on. And for the Q&A, for example, that we are going to have next week, we will discuss how processes and planning works. So that means that you will need to be prepared for this Q&A, and you will need to read up, and we will have a number of questions probably from the book that we will discuss. So what does this mean? What does this mean? What's waterfall? What's agile? How should we plan? What are risks? And so on. So you need to listen and watch the lectures, read up in the book, and then we have a discussion. For other themes, there might be tutoring sessions with discussions, or workshops where you are supposed to be following along or doing your own stuff on computers or things like that. And that is up to each theme. So have a look in Moodle for more information if we feel that we need to give you more than that than we've already given you. But look at the schedule in Moodle to be certain what kind of session you are going to have next. For all of these themes, we will have assignments, and these assignments will all be concerning one software project which you will be developing throughout the course. And in contrast to many previous courses, for example the Java 1 or whatever it might be that you've been looking at before, the documentation is just as, if not more important than the code itself. That does not mean that the code is unimportant or that you shouldn't focus on coding as well. No, but you should do it with a clear connection to the documentation that you do. So if you model something, design something in the documentation, that is what you should do in code as well. So we keep them together. And the project that you're going to do during this course is a game of hangman, and we picked it because it's simple to understand. It's not that difficult. I realized later on that it is fairly brutal in a way. I mean, someone is getting hanged, and not only that, it's getting hanged by the limbs, different limbs at a time, which is terrible, and we should not use hanging of people at all. So, however, I've seen other games that you've played, or not perhaps you, but other people, like Fortnite or I don't know. But all of this, it's a lot of blood and people are dying left and right and so on. So hangman isn't that bad, depending on what you do with it. Because the idea here is that the project itself can be seen as fairly simple. I mean, hangman, yeah, you pick a word, the computer picks a word, and you, as the player, you're supposed to guess the word one letter at a time, and if you don't manage, the poor guy will get hanged, and if you manage, then yay, and so on. It's not that difficult. However, you are supposed to do as much as you possibly can in this game. So you should imagine and you should envision quite a lot more. So we give you the bare bones on Moodle. You will have a short description of what hangman is. You can also check on the Wikipedia page for hangman, and that's kind of the lower limit of what you are supposed to be doing. But after that, you can add a lot more, and only your imagination should be limiting what you can do. I mean, your knowledge and your imagination. So you can have players that are registered, so you log in as the same player as last time. You can keep scores, you can have a high score list, you can have a large a large set of words, or you can have words that you fetch from the internet, or you can have fairly elaborate figures for the poor guy getting hanged and so on. So think of what you can do and try to make this as interesting as possible. We will not limit you when it comes to what what you can do. I need to be in picture. So try to imagine as much as you possibly can, and try to find something that's both something of an let's say a challenge to you, but also something that makes this game more interesting. Okay? For doing this, you can use the language that you are most familiar with from previous courses, so either probably Java or JavaScript through Node.js. Those two are okay, as those are the languages that we have been trying to push onto you. So do that, and remember that even though we are not making a commercial grade application, however, if you make a really successful hangman, please add our names in the credit list in the game as well. Thanks. But the focus here is on the documentation, and the code is still really important, because the idea here is that we are going to make high quality software through the use of a process that makes this an engineering effort. Okay? So the code should be high quality because you've made a lot of work in understanding the problem and structuring your solution. We've got a question from Slack. So the question is basically, if we have special features that we want to add, do we need to plan for everything at once, or can we add them at a later stage? Try to get as much as you can from the beginning, so plan for as much as you can. However, if you got spare time at the end, see, you could probably squeeze them in as well, but try to write a vision where you have as much as possible of your vision. But it might be the case that you understand later on that you can do more. All right, let's see, where are we? High quality, that's good. All the different assignments are I need to check the way, because now I'm getting questions. From others. All assignments correspond to an iteration in the development, and overall these assignments will be 4. So there will be 4 iterations, and you will plan for 4 iterations, and these different assignments will add different things. So the first one will be about planning a project. The second one will be about designing the application. The third one will be about testing, and then the last one, as I'll say later on, will be about doing all of that again. Also get a question here about Q&A for the distance students, and the idea is that we're going to have Q&A as we are doing it right now, namely together with the Kalmar students. But we'll post more information about that if that wasn't clear. Okay, so assignments directly related to your project and the theme. First assignment, planning. We have a project plan template available on Moodle, and this one is a PDF, and you use that for inspiration. You don't need to do exactly as it says, but you should have those parts available in your in your project template. So look at the headlines and look at the instructions and fill that with your content. And the second one, modeling with UML, and then testing. Let's see where we are. And the last one, as I said, will be doing all of this again, but for the last part. So you can add things that you implement in each of the different iterations and assignments. And the things that you got left, you put into the 4th assignment and the 4th iteration. And by doing that, you will do all the different steps. You plan for it, of course, and how much time and so on that it will take. But you will also do some design and modeling of that, and you will do the testing for those parts that are left. So when the 4th assignment and iteration is done, you basically hand in the complete application. So it should be done by then. All assignments will be graded from A to F, and the last assignment will be worth more for your final grade than the 3 previous, because in the last one you are supposed to take all the feedback that you've been given previously in the other assignments, and you should adjust and make your application or your documentation better in contrast to what you've been learning. And we know that it is sometimes the case that it takes a while before you get the feedback, but continue with the task, and when you get the feedback, incorporate the feedback into the task itself. the important thing is that you should show for us that you've learned from the previous tasks. And the examination will be these 4 assignments, as well as an online test. For the assignments, we look at the documentation that you've done and the code. As I said, it's important to have the code, and it's really important to have the documentation. And good documentation should result in a good application. That's the learning outcome, basically, from this course. So we want to see that. We want to see that you followed your planning and that you've done these steps, and that actually results in something that is quite good, code-wise. And if it doesn't, you should reflect on that, because all of the different steps will have parts where we want you to reflect over what you've been doing. And these reflections are important, as they are your means to really understand if this is this working. If it's not, why doesn't it work, and so on. And as I said, each theme will also have an online test. 3 tests. They will be open for a number of days, and you have a specific amount of time to finish the tests. There will be multiple choice questions, and you will be given the result as soon as you are done with the test. If you don't pass the first test, there will of course be another one in close proximity of this first one, and then there will also be one in August. We also got a question about the exact deadline for the assignments. Yeah, we will specify a bit more in detail the exact date for handing in the different things, so that you know. The combination of the 4 grades and the online test will result in your final grade. Yeah. This is the cover of something we call a book. Have you heard of it? You can see them in libraries, for example. Have you been to one? If not, try it out. This book is the course literature, Software Engineering, 10th edition, by this Ian Somerville. And you need it. Okay? Yes, you do. Okay. Right? We don't exactly care how. So you need this book, and you need to buy this book. I don't want to know, because for me the important thing is that you read it, because you are going to need to read this book. It's not enough to just have the book. That's just one step. And a question?
Is there a lot of change from 9th edition to 10th edition?
You can check that out if you buy both of them.
Yeah, there are some 9th edition as a PDF on the net, but the 10th edition you have to buy.
Yeah, I don't have the 9th, so I don't know. So the question was about the differences between the different editions. I would suspect that between 9th and 10th there's not a lot of difference, but we will concentrate on this 10th edition. It is also a really good book. So it's a book that teaches you how to see this software development thingy that we are going to do in the future as software engineering. So there's loads of stuff that's really important for you to understand in this. So please try to get this book. And if you just buy one book in your entire life, I think this is a good book to buy. If you decide to buy this book, then it's available both in softcover and hardcover. And as I understand it, the hardcover is really expensive. And the softcover is not quite as expensive. And the softcover is just as good as the hardcover. It's a thick, really heavy book, so a softcover might actually be a win on all dimensions. But please try to get the book. Communication is important to get things going, and we know from previous years that we really have had difficulties when it comes to getting all the information out and in, so to say. So if we all try our best, we think that if we just communicate, this will work out nicely. We've made some changes that should make everything easier this year as well. So the first port of call is the Moodle page. And we know, yeah, it's way ugly, but it contains a lot of information about this course. It has this schedule, which you can look at and see what we're going to presumably do at the different times. And you got information about the project, you got this template, you got all the lectures and so on, all the study material that's available for you. Everything is available there, as well as his assignments, of course. So always start there. And we will assume that you read everything in Moodle concerning this course, of course, and not everything else, but everything that's about this course, we will assume that you look there and you read through. If things are not clear, but you've read everything, and by all means ask us. I mean, that's what we're here for. But please read through the documentation that we made. We've tried to make it easily accessible. But we make mistakes as well, so just tell us. In addition to that, we will also post information on changes to the schedule or the content or the workflow or everything else on Moodle. We are going to all the teachers, at least, not you, but the teachers, we are going back and forth between Kalmar and Växjö, and, well, you know, trains. So please have a look at the latest news on the forum from time to time. Often, with often I mean before you are going to have one of these sessions, please have a look at the forum and see if there's any problem. Like, I'm stuck in Emmaboda, I cannot come all the way. Who knows? It might happen. So please have a look. It ain't pretty, but it's information. Apart from that, we have Slack, and I suspect most of you are already on this. And some of the tutoring will be through Slack. Teachers and assistants will be available on Slack. Teacher assistants, our really nice people that are helping out, will be there a lot, trying to help you. We, the teachers, will be there from time to time. If you want something directly concerning something that has to do with me or the course itself, I personally prefer email, but I'm available on Slack from time to time as well. Please remember that Slack isn't a replacement for reading everything on Moodle. So, RTFM first, then ask questions. that doesn't mean that we won't help you. We're here to help. Everyone is here to help. We want everything to work out nicely. But please read all the information first and state questions that are reasonable. Think a little bit about how you react on Stack Overflow. But everyone is here to help, and everyone is welcoming and so on. So Slack, I suspect, as I said, that every one of you listening or watching now is already up and running there. You might also be up and running on GitHub, and if you're not, we expect you to create an account linked to your LNU account there as well. So on Moodle, if you don't have a Git account already, on Moodle there is a short introduction, both a video and some slides that you can look at in order to get up and running with GitHub as well. And each assignment will be handed in to us as a Git release link, so we can look at what you've done at that specific moment. And for that to work, you also need to invite us as collaborators, and you see our names down here: Daniel Toll, Tobias DV LNU, that's the other Tobias, D-Tag LNU, that's me, that's because I'm Dan Tobias Andersson Gidlund, and if you see D-Tag sprayed somewhere in the bicycle tunnels all over town, that's me, badass D-Tag. Marie-Therese and Ken-Erik are also available for you as teaching assistants and will need to be able to look into your repos. Great! Just a few more things. This last slide. The next steps, and this is just to really push you into what's coming up in the close time gap. Get the book. I don't care how, but get the book. Read up on processes and planning, which is chapter 2 and 3 as well as 22 and 23. See the recorded lectures. There's something called a pause button in YouTube. Use that from time to time if it gets too heavy. Well, do it in chunks. It doesn't matter, but look at the recorded lectures. Set up a Git account and share it with us, and then start planning for Hangman and produce some code that you commit to Git. Next week we will meet again. We will meet and we will discuss processes and planning, and for that to be meaningful you need to read up in the book, and we will sit down and I will take the book and I will look at some of the questions that are available in the book, and we will discuss around that. That's the basic idea. It's a great book, really nice. So read these parts and I think everything will go nicely. Any questions from the audience? No? All right then. You're all searching for the book. Good. It's available for buying online if you like, or else. Okay then. You know where to find us. Please make yourself heard if you need any help or information or anything else. Okay then. Thanks a lot for today. Bye then.